Okay, welcome to today enlightening discussions. What we're going to talk about it's a critical environmental issue affecting us. And I'm very thrilled to receive somebody really is going to talk to us about the problem and what she's doing to actually solve it. She is a dedicated expert in waste management. She'll be joining us to explore the intersection between plastic pollution and climate change. And today what we're going to be diving into it's the profound impact of plastic on our planet. We're going to be discussing some of the challenges we face in managing plastic, but also uncover the innovative strategy that lead us towards a more sustainable future. I would like us to welcome Shelmith as she share her insight and also practical solution to mitigate the environmental threat. Are you ready for that? So let's go for it. Hello, welcome again. So my name is Tony Chu. I'm the founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa. So if you see it for the first time, so what we do is very simple. We raise awareness about renewables energy across the globe. So what we do, we make sure that you understand better this industry, right? So if you are a project developer, if you are an EPC company, if you are a supplier, or you are an investor and you're looking to spread across Africa, I want to help you. How are we going to help you? I want to help you to 10x your return on investment. I want to help you to reduce your business development costs. And how am I going to do that? Whoa, it's very simple. With our awareness packages, we want to help you three ways. We want to make sure that, first of all, you get the visibility, but to who? Visibility to people that matter for you. That means people that buy your product or your services. And secondly, through that visibility, we help you to get the lead that you want. And number three is to get the sales that will grow your business. As simple as that. I know what you're thinking. You're probably sitting and thinking, that looks too good to be true. So how can he back it up? Very simple. To reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to show you what I've done for other people and show you why I believe it will work as well for you. But today, what we're talking about is plastic management, plastic pollution, and the whole climate change. And as I say, I have a very fine expert who's going to talk to us about that. So let me welcome into the stage Shelmith Wambui. So Shelmith, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Tony. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. I know we do a little bit of an early conversation, right? Early interview. But hey, listen, you're a very busy girl. In the process of starting a new empire, put it that way. So I'm happy to catch you right at the beginning. But before we dive into this conversation, right? So I think it would be great if you could give us a little introduction of who you are, because I know we met about a year ago. That was in Nairobi. You were all bubbling with your friends. But yeah, if you can tell people watching live, so who is Shelmith?
Well, thank you so much, Tony, for the platform. So, my name is Shelmith Omboi from Nairobi, Kenya, and I've been dealing with issues of majorly on the SDG 13, talking about climate change. The most recent project I'm currently working on is on plastic repurposing, as I'd like to call it. So, my previous project, when we met with you, Tony, we remember it was about I was in the bioenergy, where we were manufacturing briquettes made from biomass and supplying them to public schools in Kenya, because most of the public schools in Kenya they do use firewood and charcoal, which is very bad for the environment. So that is also a project that I'm running. But now today we're going to talk about plastics and how they affect the climate, and in Kenya especially. That's what I'm going to specialize in, and I'll be able to share more about what our project is about.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Effectively, because I noticed that obviously you were moved from the biomass briquette to the plastic, which is an even bigger problem. And I said, okay, she's definitely onto something here, and I would like to find out more about it. So, can you share with me a little bit, please, Shamit? So, what initially sparked your passion for addressing this issue of plastic waste and the impact on the climate?
All right. So, what sparked my interest in my one passionate about plastic recycling? So, when you look around, when you walk anywhere in Nairobi, unless you're walking in the even in the really nice uptown urban areas, there's still plastics all over. So you just look at your neighbor, you will see plastics everywhere. Do you wonder what is the life shelf of this plastic? What happens after I'm done with my usage for this plastic? Where does it go? So, having attended very many workshops and conferences on climate mitigation, these conferences, very ironically, they do provide water in plastic bottles. So it makes you wonder, are we just going to talk about it and actually not do something about it? Which sparked my interest. And I sat down and I looked about a few of the projects that can be done to help clear this plastic. And that's being people solutions and then solutions. And then what are we doing? Oh, we're just talking we actually do. I myself and invited one other person who's very conversant in the my partner, and we started. We're going to start a foundation, Wesley, for to launch, and we will be dealing in cleaning up the streets of Nairobi, taking up all the plastic that we can see everywhere. We're going to start with Nairobi in Kenya, and then as we spread out to other towns, we will take the plastic and actually clear it from our environment.
Oh, that's actually a very bold mission that you're giving to yourself. And I know, with all due respect, I know Nairobi has some of the very biggest, obviously, slum that needs to be cleaned up. Absolutely, and like you say, it shouldn't be just, let's say, something that people notice and just walk past and just say, "Hey, look at this big slum." Somebody gotta be doing something about it. So you are setting up to tackle that. I think that's very impressive, I must admit, and very brave as well from you. And obviously, I wish you all the best with that. But this is why we want to talk about that. So talking about that, as I say, I could see obviously you were an entrepreneur. I could see that from the first time I spoke to you, and I understand what the journey of an entrepreneur is because I'm simply one of them as well. So, and it's actually marked by lots of challenge, and that's why you need to have a mindset above average. That's for sure. Otherwise, you just can't do this job. So, what would you say, Shelmith, are the most significant challenges so that we face today in managing plastic effectively?
Yeah, so one of the challenges we're currently facing is the overwhelming volume. Every single day, plastic is being made, but it's being made very fast, and then but then it begs the question: as fast as we're making this plastic, how effective is the clearing of the plastic? So we should have systems in place where if we're making maybe 10 tons of plastic a day, are we clearing maybe even 11 tons even left over from yesterday? So that is one of the challenges that we have right now. And also in the education system, back when I was very young, starting school, you always told
You're
how
still
to
young,
draw.
by the way.
I'm still young. When I was younger,
Okay.
when you're in school and you're just a very child, maybe around 10 years or something in primary school, you're told, be mindful of the environment, clear the environment, do not litter. But then they do not go the extra step to say why you shouldn't litter. It
Hmm.
just ends there. Then once you grow up and you're a bit older and can understand things, that's when you can go maybe access social media and you can see. So they were telling us not to litter this plastic because it's biodegradable, it's bad for the environment, and this is what it does. So I think this is also a challenge in our education system. It shouldn't stop to just where it says do not litter. It should tell you do not litter because of this, and that. And then having children just grow up with this the environmental consciousness, we will have a better future, I'd say, and less plastic and waste manage. Waste to manage.
Okay. So definitely you raise an aspect there, which is having a better education around the system. So raising awareness is fine, but it's about raising awareness so that people understand why they shouldn't be doing that. And you're absolutely right. So usually we see don't litter, but it doesn't go further than that. And you're right. Somebody needs to be explaining that. So that means that you taking that as well upon yourself to better explain to people, obviously, why they should not be doing it.
Yes. So part of the project that we're going to do, apart from just clearing the plastics, we will be goals where I was young in those days. We will be telling the students, maybe we identify one school and then we tell them maybe on a Friday. every Friday, maybe this particular Friday, once a month, come with plastic bottles. We tell them each child should come with at least three plastic bottles. How homes will go plastic bottles per person, this amount of plastic, and this is how it was shown um, to. So having that will also just spark the conversation among the children and maybe even integrate it to the education system in the long run. So that is one of the things we really hope to achieve, and I know it's very doable.
Excellent, excellent. So why not? I mean, let's go for it. And I just want to find out, Shelmith, how effective do you think current policies are in combating plastic? I think I have an idea of what the response will be, but I want to hear that from you because I'm sure if it was very effective, you would not be here. But let's still discuss about
Yeah.
that. So, or how could we better improve those policies? What kind of additional measure would you suggest? It's probably the better question.
Right. First of all, instead of just coming here to complain, I'd also give flowers where they're due. So in Kenya, we did pass policy in 2017, which is very effective, I'd say, and the single ban of the single plastic bags. So we used to have that a lot in the supermarkets. Once you spent a lot of money in the shopping, they give you a plastic bag again to just go and dispose as you wish, which is very bad for the environment. So once we banned that, we actually saw the reduction in plastic bags around the country. So from 2017, that was very nice. But now one of the policies I'd want to see that implemented all across the producers. We should have an EPR, which is the extended producer responsibility, where we hold the producers liable. Like once you manufacture this plastic bottle, let's give an example of Coca-Cola. Once you produce this bottle of Coca-Cola, right? You've factored in the production money, how it's going to be distributed, the logistics and all that. Do you also factor in once someone consumes this, how will they be able to return this plastic bottle to us so we can better dispose of it or maybe even reuse it? So I'd really like to push the governments to make this a really big thing and also just have the repercussions just as heavy when producers do not follow this law.
Okay, you want to push the government. Tell me, you want to be sitting close to, you know, your
Yes.
president who was visiting Biden and say, "You have to do it, otherwise, I'm not going to be happy."
You have to do it because actually there's this when he visited Biden.
Hmm.
If I could just refer that to my so yeah, so they got a really big deal with Coca-Cola where they're going to invest billions in Kenya just to expand Coca-Cola and all that. So I'd really want to know in this deal, did you factor in the plastic that we already have around here? Did you factor in how we're going to clear all that and the more that is going to be produced in the name of job creation as well? So I'd really want to challenge my president and, other
Okay.
officials. Power. Yeah.
So, President Ruto, if you ever watch Renewables in African channel, what you
Yes.
want to see here, we actually challenging you with the
Yeah.
deal that you just made, right? So, Coca-Cola, that's fine. So, billions of dollars. Is that was billions of OBs? I don't know.
Billions
I'm
of
just
billions of Kenyan shillings.
yeah. No, I'm just joking. So, okay. Yeah, that's very nice what you're saying, I think, and I love what you're standing up for. And like you said, so we shouldn't just say, "Hey, look at those plastic, look at those slums." Somebody's got to be doing something about it. And I usually say it. So, as citizens, there is a lot we could do. Actually, we just neglecting it. Neglecting our own power. So, good on you to do that. So, in terms of looking at some potential solutions, right? So, uh, I'm sure you setting up your foundation, and I know I consider opening. I'm convincing you that to have another shape of the business. Hopefully, I'll be successful. Let's see. But let's talk about what it is right now.
Yeah.
So, I want to discuss some of those promising innovation plastic management that you believe you can help. designed to make a real difference. So what are those better ways of approaching the problem that you think that you could get people to do?
All right. So just to say something very small, not anything crazy. One thing we can do is maybe, but they're already there. We already have collection points for waste. We already have those bins. Maybe you just walk somewhere, you see a bin written dry waste, plastic waste, and this other type of waste. So those bins, I'd really want to know, where do they take their waste? Fine, you're collecting the waste. You're doing a good job. What are you doing about the waste? That's why we see so many heaps of waste, and yet we're here giving flowers to those people collecting the waste. But what are they really doing with the waste? They're just taking it from one dumping site to another dumping site. So what happens is they take the waste from the rich, they collect it very nicely, and then they go dump it in the slums where these people who do not really, maybe they don't know how to go about it. They just have all this waste dumped there. So I'd really want to challenge, as much as we have all these waste collection places, I'd want us to also have the follow through, not just collect the waste, but also do something. So what we plan to do in our foundation is, once we have, we will just last with the already collection points that are there, and maybe just add others in places that we feel are really struggling to collect the waste. We will take this plastic waste, and then we will set up foundation where we'll make the plastic into houses. What we want to do is we will focus on community projects. So we will take the plastic waste, make them into bricks by adding sand. They'll have that weight and the compactness of a brick, and then maybe we can build dispensaries in these places where they'd rather to dump their waste, and of course they do not have enough resources. They do not have, the government will not really pay attention to them unless an NGO or a foundation comes in, or a donor or something. So we will take those plastics, work with the community, and set up dispensaries if they're lacking in that. Set up maybe even additional classrooms if they're lacking in that, because it has already been done. We have seen people building up structures using plastic, the P4 bottles, and it has been working. So that's what I'd really like to focus on in the beginning of this venture that we're getting into.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. I think we're reaching almost halfway point of the interview, but we still have a few questions that I want to go through that. So hold on a minute. We're just gonna mark the halfway point. Yeah. So again, this is Tony. So we talking to Shelmith one way, and we talked about plastic pollution and also what we can do to better solve the problem. Because obviously she's launching a new structure to tackle it. Just as little as that, right? And we talked about her journey so far. So we talked about the solution that she want to see implement. We talked about what she believed could be better done in terms of policy in order to properly tackle the situation. Now we're going to move into the next phase of the conversation where we look about what is the role that consumers can do. So, or what is the future looking like for her structure? And I want to challenge her about something, the money. Okay, let's bring back Shelmith so that we can talk about that. So, Shelmith, so welcome back again, and it's great pleasure to have you on our show and expert interview here for Renewables Now channel. And we talk about plastic, a very, very important topic. Say billions of dollars going to be spent to expand the solar footprint. So you challenging President Ruto. So what are you doing to make sure that we're going to tackle as well the multiple plastic bottle that we're going to see as a follow-up from this year, right? So that's a bold move, right? So with
Thank you.
so that somebody in state house probably watching and say, what are you those two talking about? But hey, this is our role as citizen, right? To challenge you people in in the position of power. Yep. So I want to take in back into continuous, right? So in what way can individuals and communities contribute more effectively in reducing the plastic and also the climate impact for
Okay, thank you so much for welcoming back to the second session, Tony. So, how communities can contribute to reducing the plastic waste? is just ensuring that you hold accountable. I feel like most people that live in maybe estates or something, they do have a company that comes to collect all their waste. So we should you can just track the conversation of these companies and ask them, where do you take my waste? How do I ensure that you're not just collecting my waste from my doorstep to go and dump it in front of someone else's door? So having that, when once you raise awareness, it gets things moving. People work better sometimes under the microscope. So just having that, make sure you collect your. You can even just do it on your own in the house. Just separate your waste into also just three categories, just making it easier for these people who are collecting the waste to identify that this is plastic, this can degrade and this cannot degrade. And then just doing that will make it easier for the ones who are just collecting the waste to also know what to do with it. So I think we can start there on a personal level before we challenge the government to do something else.
Absolutely, and I think that, and I like what you said that because most of the time, especially in Africa, I know, including my own country, so we're always looking for the government to do everything. Government can and should not be doing everything.
Yeah.
At our level, every citizen, there is a lot already that we can do. Simply, for example, you and I coming together and talking about this problem. I like to think that that would help sort of better inform people so that they can understand this problem and realize that there's already a number of solutions that could be doing. For example, to clean up in front of your house, right? To take off your the plastic bottle and dispose them properly and take them maybe to a recycling center. You don't need government to tell you to do that. That should be a straightforward, idea that you have and go and do it, right? So this is the thing. So most of the time we're always pushing the responsibility towards other people, whereas we can already do a lot more. And if each of us, every single one of us, is actually realizing that and taking action, I'm pretty much sure we're gonna have 60-70% of the problem that actually goes away, right? So that's true. So thank you for saying that. Now, I want to take you to maybe a little bit of a global perspective in here. So I'm sure as you diving into this problem of plastic pollution, so you probably looked at what is going on elsewhere, and you sort of mentioned that as well in your response when you were saying that it's done elsewhere. So what can we learn from countries that are leading in this? First of all, do you have an idea what country are leading the way globally and maybe as well in Africa, and what can we learn from them?
Well, I think a nice example that I'd want maybe most African countries to emulate would be Singapore. I think that I feel like Singapore really does make effort to clear the waste. It starts in their home states. These people don't just tell the government, the government, the government. So they do it personally, and then now the rest can be done by bigger organizations and all that. So I think Singapore is a country to really look out for in terms of making policies and just how to deal with waste management.
Okay, so next you want to see President Ruto go and shake the hands of the Singapore leader, right? So say, okay, I want to talk to you about plastic because I've been sent here by Shelmith, and she has a very important message. Or it could be you as opposed to President Ruto. Why
I
not?
was going to say that. I was going to say that he should send. There should be a balance when it comes to this decision making. We should have the youth just as much as we have the elderly representation, just to make sure what is the youth perspective on this and what is the let's say the seasoned perspective on this, so
Yeah.
that we can have both. Because what affects the youth mostly is, it will affect it's the trickle down. So whatever happens at the top there should also influence what happens down here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think what you say is absolutely true, but part of my response to that is, which I'm also challenging the youth, is that's why I need people to engage with politics. I'm not saying that you should be doing politics, but you should engage. When you have things like elections, we have no choice but to engage. Why? Because decision that they are making affecting our life, as simple as that. And if you want any change to happen, you need to understand that at some point in time, you need to engage and to be pushing things to move forward. And again, I'm repeating one of what you're doing today. It's part of it because hopefully you can get a lot of people. I know it's already that you are. Who is the co-founder, by the way? Can you talk about briefly about the co-founder, about? So
Yeah.
why is he or she not here?
Well, my co-founder excused themselves. They had a prior engagement, but
Okay,
the name is Wesley Langard. He's
okay,
also a very big enthusiast. He's also a writer, a storyteller. So that's how we merge the two worlds together. He does environmental conservation as well. He's also globally recognized actually in his articles about environmental conservation and climate change. So yes, hopefully maybe in the next session, once we have policies in place, we will come on, me and him, and we can do this again.
okay. I know
Yeah,
that's a nice strategy that you've done, Shelmith. Right? So you make sure that for the first one he won't be here because you want me to reinvite you. Don't worry, I'll reinvite you. And this time, Wesley, I summon you to come into this show, this platform, because I
yeah,
want to see you. Right? She can't be just taking that burden on her own. So if you're saying that you are co-founder, we want to
yeah,
see you here, right?
yeah,
Excellent. I think yeah, I'll be delighted. Jokes aside, I'll be delighted to meet him and to discuss and to see obviously what the two of you are doing to move the needle forward. So let me talk about the future outlook. So looking ahead, what would you say are your hope and prediction for the future of plastic management in the whole context of climate change?
all right. So in the future, well, one of the things that was discussed in the COP28 in Abu Dhabi was the story about plastics. So we know we cannot, it can be an overnight solution. We cannot just wake up tomorrow and say, we're not going to be making plastics anymore. There will be some gradual change, but it should be very purposeful. It should be very intentional. Like, are we actually working to find ways to substitute this plastic that we feel that we cannot do without? Just change the behavior of people and the mindsets that people have that there are no alternatives to plastic. So in the long run, I'd want maybe not even maybe I'd want the government to have a subject when they talk about science. That's what we have here in Kenya, science, maybe environment right now. So they should have a whole topic on conservation of the environment and just talk about all these things: plastics, waste management, climate change. And coming from the young age to the universities, they should also just have such courses on, as much as they have health and awareness, they should also be environment wellness and climate change mitigation in there. And then aside from that, we should also have the youth engaged in policy making when it comes to such events. Because most of the time, we find the representation going to this COP28, all this UN climate things, are usually older representation. We would want to see the government nominate the youth to go there and speak on behalf of the youth, that this is the waste that we consume and this is how we feel best, that you can help us or guide us in how to dispose of it. So just having the youth, having my point, I feel like you can see it's really coming across is just having these policies stem from a very young age and having the influence going all the way till, yeah, older age.
Okay, so essentially, you want dinosaurs to take their place into the museum and to give place to to the real contemporary people to actually take the take the battle on. Yeah,
Yes, please. Yes, that is the challenge.
I'm not I'm not sure they will want to do that. By the way,
They should.
so
They should want to.
I'm saying that coming from a country where the president is 90 something and he still want to contest the next election, which is crazy. Anyway,
Right.
let me go forward. So that's actually well understood. You absolutely making a vital point. So we need youth in those delegation or people representing youth in those delegation to clearly carry the message forward
Yeah.
because we know a large proportion, 60% of Africa, it's
The youth.
beyond 19 or 8 or 20 definitely. So that means this is the future and even the present of Africa, and we need to represent the interests of those people. Yeah. So unfortunately, I'm not on that bracket anymore, but I still like to think that I'm not too old just
Yeah.
yet. Yeah. So
Yeah.
excellent. I think we coming close to the end. In fact, that was meant to be the end of the conversation, but I can't let you go, Shanmi, without talking about the money question. It is central to me. And I'll tell you why, as simple as
Yeah.
that. You're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, and I need all the entrepreneur, young and old, to understand that, right? Especially if we're operating in this sector of sustainability, where you have renewables energy, climate change, yeah. So it's good to be doing good for the planet, yeah. But it's even better to make sure that you could make the money that you need to ensure that your projects, your mission goes forward. Because unfortunately, unless things change, we still live in a very capitalist world. It means that you need to make the money for you to move forward. So where is the money in what you are doing? So, and have you thought about that? I'm sure you did, but talk to me about that. Yeah, because you say initially, if I want some donor, some investor, that's fine. There may be a couple of investors walking past. They hear where's the money. They stop and say, "Hey, Tony, talk about the money. Let me listen. Where is the money in what you're doing?"
All right. So you're basically asking if we are for-profit organization, right? All right.
Sorry,
You're asking if we are a for-profit organization.
not necessarily. Like I say, that I say I'm gonna have a side discussion with you. I've already said that. Yeah, so not a
Yeah.
problem. But I don't want to put you on the spot for the structure. Yeah, so
Yeah.
whatever you've built so far, I need to understand, because for me, you need to start there. So let's be honest, you need to start there because
Yeah.
if listen, you know, the slum that we see in Nairobi, they're one of the biggest slum for a reason, right? Because they've been here for years and years building up, right?
Yeah.
If you want, so that means for you to potentially clean up, you and the movement that you're going to create, other people that are going to follow on, right? It's going to take a few years to do it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I want you to be surviving for a few years, which means you need to be making the money somewhere. So
True.
that's what I'm saying. Where's the money?
Okay. That's a really good question, Tony. So where we hope to get the money from to carry out our projects will be mostly in Kenya we have the CDF where it's money for the community wellness. So the money can be used either to build schools, build hospitals, just community projects basically. So that will be our buy-in. We will, because what we're planning to do are basically community projects. So we plan to work with the government, and they will give us money. They will give us money, Tony, to clean up the environment and set up the structures that are dispensaries and classrooms. So once they give us the money, we will do our budget where we will pay these people who are making these houses, people who are collecting all this waste, and also we should have money that will help the business to grow as well. So it won't be fully an NGO, but we will be getting money as well. And if we plan to make this our full-time jobs, we also need to factor in how we can get an income from this.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, your main customer you anticipate will be government.
Yeah. Our main customer should
Your
be the
client, yeah.
government.
So basically, the
Yeah.
end beneficiaries will be the people obviously living in those neighborhoods, or
Yeah.
also or businesses. But the person paying you would be, or the main customer would be government. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Government or the UN bodies or USA, the USAID,
Okay,
such bodies are the ones that we're targeting. Even the European, they're all welcome to come on board
okay.
and do this project.
Excellent. Okay, no problem. I think that's fine. I think yeah. I think I'll just challenge you a little bit here. So, but that's fine. You need to start somewhere, right? So, and obviously, with a little bit of advice, you could make it work for yourself. Well, I think that was a wonderful conversation. But there's one thing I did not tell you, which I usually say to all the people that I interview.
Yeah.
So, I'm just gonna give you the chance to have an elevator pitch, right? So,
Yeah.
which is I give you 60 seconds, right? So, I'm gonna go on backstage and I give you the floor. So, you're gonna run the show for 60 seconds, and the question is very simple. So you need to tell me before, do you want to address the message to your customer, or you want to address to or your potential investor, you choose. Either way, whoever you choose, you have 60 seconds to convince them why they should take an interest into your foundation or your structure that you're setting up. So who do we want to talk to? Is it the customer or the potential investor? Who do you want to talk to?
Let me talk to my investor because my investor is also my customer. But now let me start high. So let me go with the
Investor.
investor.
Okay, so I give you the floor. So I'm just gonna go on backstage for 60 seconds. So I give you the floor. And are you ready for that?
Yes, I am.
You were born ready. I know that. Yeah.
I'm
There
born
you
ready.
go.
Thank you so much, Tony, for the platform on renewables in Africa. So my name is Shelmith, and I've started a foundation called the Shelmith Wesley Foundation with my co-founder called Wesley, because my name is Shelmith, obviously. So I try to convince my investors that they should invest in this foundation because what we are doing for the community is going to benefit you directly. This is not an indirect kind of benefit. So we are going to clean up the environment, and we will actually add more ears to the world to enjoy sustainable rainfall, sustainable weather patterns. So you investing in us is also investing in the planet, where we will clean up the waste, set up structures that are going to benefit the community, such as dispensaries that are going to treat people who cannot really access hospitals in the cities or further places. We will bring the medical services closer to your home. So if you invest in our organization, you'll be investing in the health sector, in the education sector, in the planet sector, and we will be able to have a better climate, a better planet, a cleaner planet. Imagine coming to Nairobi for a conference and you're not met with this heap of dirt, of plastic, because we will have cleaned that up. So I invite all investors on here in this platform to invest in this project because it is no longer a dream, because we are living in it. Thank you.
Excellent. Brilliant. I loved it. Yeah. I definitely knew that you were born ready. So, investors, so if you're listening, Shami is speaking to you. You want to be flying down to Nairobi, not seeing all of those, dirt that you see. You want to be all clean, all shiny. That's what she's challenging you to doing, right? So, and you have an interest in doing it directly, not indirectly. Yeah. So that's beautifully said. And by the way, she's basically doing you a service, right? So I'm sure you would like to get it done. You just don't have the time. Here, she's
Yeah.
setting up a body and structure that can work with you to get it cleaned up because nobody likes it. Because guess what, So it's a hazard for everybody, right? So you don't want it for yourself as well. Definitely not in your shows. So Shamit, it was beautiful. Thank you, talking to you. So I really admire what you're doing. So you actually taking on a huge problem globally and definitely as well in your own country, Kenya. So starting with Nairobi, but I'm sure once you've done clean up Kenya, I can tell you you have another 54 countries that's waiting for you. So I'm afraid to say that you're just about starting a very long journey. So if you're ever thinking about stopping, so I'm not sure you need to still think about that, right? 'Cause I think there's a work for you for the next 2 centuries.
My work is cut out for me. I'm
Yeah,
ready.
excellent, brilliant. So thank you very much for taking the time. I know it's a little bit early
Yeah.
to come to the show, so obviously, but the conversation was due. Definitely, I promised that when I saw you, and I thought that I needed to welcome you in our platform, and clearly do not regret it a second. And I'm sure people will love listening to you and have loved already listening to you. I can see some people are watching live, so thank you for uh, for for doing it. And then yeah, so I wish you all the best with your new adventure. I know it's never easy, never an easy piece of cake, but I'm sure you'll be able to do that. And Worthy and you, next time you're obviously welcome to come and tell us whereby you are. So how much, what milestone you've been able to achieve, in the next 6 to 12 months. So we certainly will be talking. So thank you, and you have a great day. Yeah,
Thank you, Tony.
excellent, excellent. Okay, okay. So, as you see, so we have been talking to Shelmith, definitely very, very bright lady, and she's on to big things. Thank you again, Shelmith, sharing your invaluable expertise and shedding the light on complex issues surrounding plastic waste, but also the effect on climate change. I think the insight that you have shared, they not only informed us about the gravity of the situation, but also inspire hope through the potential solution that you have developed there and the action that we can take as individuals and communities. And you want to really to insist on that. Yeah. Don't just, hope or think that government will be doing it on your behalf. There is already a lot that you can do. And I really, really like this message, that citizen message. That's very good. And to our audience, I want to thank you as usual for this critical conversation. You join us for that. I want to carry the knowledge, the inspiration from today to make more informed choices and advocate for policies that support a healthier but also more sustainable world. And together, we really can make a significant impact in reducing plastic pollution and protecting our environment for the future generations. So, thank you very much, and I'm sure I'll see you in another interview.